Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us today. In today's webinar, we're going to be covering NetSuite. Does one size really fit all? Just waiting another couple of seconds while we've got a few additional people joining, and then we'll kick off. So, kicking off the day, we'll introduce our panelists, and then we'll briefly introduce Fusion 5, who we are, where NetSuite fits into our business, and then we'll tackle the question of one size fits all. How can this be the case? What is the context around that? And then we'll have a chat around our innovation and integration pillar. So we'll have a chat with our practice manager to talk about how ERP can fit into your business, even if you already have lots of other best of breed applications running specific mission critical processes for you. And then to wrap up, we'll have Gavin Niels, our solution architect from NetSuite, who will give you a bit of an overview of the software and talk a little bit about the extensibility of the application and how it can be molded around your business and your business processes. If you've got any questions, please pop them into the chat as they arise, and we'll cover them off as quickly as we can. So on our panel today, we have myself, Joel Mickelson. I'm the sales manager for NetSuite for Australia. We also have Narelle Carey, our practice manager for our innovation and integration pillar. Hi, Narelle. And talking us through our NetSuite demonstration today will be Gavin Niels, one of our solutions architects for NetSuite pillar. So who's Fusion 5? Some of you may not know who we are, so a brief introduction at this point is always appropriate, I think. We're an Oracle NetSuite ecosystem business solutions provider, but we're also a business application and innovation company. And our goal is to empower our clients to innovate and to profit and ultimately to grow. And to do this, we design solutions utilizing a combination of some of the best tools and platforms on the market, such as Oracle NetSuite, which we're covering today. And in addition to software applications, we also design and create specifically for Australia and New Zealand businesses, IP and solutions and portals and content, etc., just to ensure that we encapsulate all of the business requirements. Supporting our applications business, we also have an innovation and integration pillar who'll be chatting with us today. They focus on utilizing cutting edge technology in the areas of applications such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, as well as supporting our integrations with other platforms as well. And we also have, underpinning all of that, a managed services platform and solution provider ecosystem that supports clients through their entire technology ecosystem, from desktop environments through to hosting, endpoint security, and help desk. And we also aim to be a complete technology partner to our clients in all the applications that they use. So we offer a full suite of business applications to our clients, from ERP, human resources, payroll, customer engagement, corporate performance, data management, and service and risk asset management, and of course a comprehensive implementation and support services program across the entire range of these applications. So at our heart, we are really a managed services company. We just also have a lot of applications which we bring to bear to create solutions for our customers. We've been growing now for around 18 years. We've got 600 employees across our 9 offices in Australia and New Zealand, and we partner with over 1,000 customers that we deliver and support solutions for across the ANZ region. Today, however, we're focusing specifically on Oracle NetSuite. Fusion 5 is the largest NetSuite partner in the JPAC region, and we've been honoured to be recognised as Partner of the Year for 2021 as well. We've actually been Oracle Partner of the Year for the JPAC region for NetSuite now for 6 continuous years, and we've got definitely the most passionate and experienced NetSuite team in the region. If you've got any questions about Fusion 5, our partnerships, and any areas that we can assist you in, please just pop them into the chat and we can follow you up at the end of this webinar. So the crux of today's webinar: how can one application fit anyone's requirements? Well, the simple answer to that question, quite simply, is it can't in many circumstances. However, the key to ensuring the business has the flexibility and the agility that it needs to grow and adapt to changing circumstances in our more than ever volatile markets is to make sure that you're operating on a best of breed base platform with the ability to be extended to meet your business's changing requirements. Customized, yes, it's not always a dirty word, to suit your processes or integrated with best of breed applications that you already use. These best of breed applications often ensure that you have the functionality and industry depth and expertise that you need to execute the core of what your business does. So more and more we're moving away from the whole concept of your ERP has to be everything. That has been the narrative up to now. But what we are definitely seeing moving forward is clients really want to be able to utilize their own best of breed applications to deal with areas of their business. So a little bit about NetSuite. NetSuite is designed to address flexibility. So first and foremost, NetSuite's philosophy is it was born in the cloud. It's designed to address an entire business. And NetSuite is cloud first, cloud only, meaning that it only has cloud tenants available. There's no on-premise solution available with that. It has all the tenants you'd associate with a real cloud solution. You can access it from any device. You can access it anytime, anywhere. It's consumer oriented. It's easy for anyone to pick up without extensive training. And it's fit for purpose. It's always up to date. It is built to run a business. Most other cloud products out there weren't really built to run businesses. They started off as a point solution. They maybe on a factory floor or to run a sales team or to run a finance department or a HR department. So when other capabilities are added to those applications, they often seem like bolt-ons. NetSuite knew from day one that every function within the company needed a solution as though it was designed for them. And that's why it has all of the key business functions represented equally: finance, sales, product, service, people, etc. So ensuring that users have access to a system that looks as though it's been specifically written for them. It's built on a single data source, which is NetSuite's unified data model, and it really is the key to being able to enable business intelligence the way that companies need it today. The unified data model allows you to report and analyze your entire business end to end. It's all real time. There's no need to build complex data warehouses with multiple moving parts and many other products require, as they've got multiple solutions across multiple platforms. So NetSuite's unified data model gives you the ability to have unrivaled analytical capabilities from pretty much day one. And the unified data model allows our customers to define also who's able to view, analyze, and transact, what they're able to access, what areas they can connect to, what they can see across the enterprise. So managing security by functional area, you can manage it by fields, by companies, by subsidiaries and sites, and all of the NetSuite functionality is built on the NetSuite platform. It's the SuiteCloud platform. It offers an unrivaled level of personalization, customization, and development, and all within a framework that ensures security, scalability, globalization, and the built-in capability of being kept up to date with the latest versions of the software. It also enables a vibrant ecosystem of developers who know that they only have one version to worry about when they're developing for the platform. So it's very easy for customers to have access to the solutions. And it also enables developers to use industry standard technology like JavaScript. So SuiteCloud is one of the most powerful and well-used platform as a service applications available. It's got thousands of developers providing real-time solutions that extend the base functionality of NetSuite, and they're being used every day by thousands of customers, so they're tried and true solutions as well. NetSuite provides the functionality that every business needs to be successful, really. It has everything from financials, supply chain management, CRM, e-commerce, and coupled with the Built for NetSuite program, our customers are building on top of the platform to ensure that companies have what they need to be successful. And through all of this, NetSuite is a global business. It's a global application. So every business we find these days is becoming more and more global. They need capabilities to compete in multiple regions, transact across multiple currencies and multiple transactions. They need to be able to access a platform that's available 24/7, 365. It's secure, scalable, always updated. So as we can see, there's a lot of depth of capability within the NetSuite platform. And there really still is, I suppose, a narrative out there of the fact that everything needs to be inside one platform, one size fits all, and there is a lot of functionality inside NetSuite. It will fit a lot of businesses as they exist out of the box. And when it doesn't, we have ways of being able to customize and extend that as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So when it comes to deploying NetSuite in a business, we start from the foundation of suite success. We've got the ability to implement leading practices learned from thousands of global deployments into specific industries to be used as a starting point to ensure that the platform is going to be going in the right direction from day one. But it's more than just a foundation, it's the industry specific functionality that's required for specific industry requirements like revenue recognition, production scheduling, subscription billing, etc. So although NetSuite utilizes the Built for NetSuite program, which is an array of supporting applications, we have available to plug in, sort of thinking like applications which you can download on an iPhone. We can introduce additional complementary core technologies from Oracle as well as other SuiteCloud Developer Network ecosystem partners so that our solutions aren't just integrated, they are part of a whole product offering that fits your industry and your business. And all that's great functionality, we've spent a lot of time to pre-configure the forms, workflows, KPIs, dashboards, roles, and integrations so that from day one, you have the ability to start to realize the value and adopt industry-leading practices. So what about when a solution or a piece of functionality needed to address your business's specific needs isn't in the platform? Well, this is where SuiteCloud Platform comes in, a development environment that enables business users to customize records, forms, fields, and transactions, just to name a few. So if there's specific forms or fields or records that you need to be able to have access to that aren't in the system, a business user can simply go ahead and build them themselves. They don't need to be a developer. They don't need to be a coder. And then when we need to do something more complex, we have the ability of being able to go and create code or applications that actually sit inside the ecosystem to extend the functionality. So you might be thinking, well, there's probably not much that NetSuite can't do. Well, we like to think that, but we're also cognizant of the fact that there's lots of IP and technology that's built into best of breed applications as well. So our customers often find that they already have the right application for the job. You might be using a best of breed e-commerce application or a point of sale application, or you might have really complex business needs that to meet complex pick, pack, and ship and delivery timing rules. So you may have a bespoke WMS platform to support your business operations because your business is all about fast delivery or timely delivery or order by two, deliver next day or something like that. So more and more we're seeing companies opting to keep their best of breed solutions in place in some process areas, or sometimes in multiple process areas. And these best of breed solutions are these best of breed solutions are often perfectly suited for an operational function in our customers' businesses. So we're actually really uniquely positioned to be able to support this kind of engagement. So what we first look to do is we look to review the application and integration landscape that will be necessary to build a solution for your business. I won't talk too much about that. What I'll do now is I'll hand over to Narelle Carey, who's the practice manager for our innovation and integrations pillar, to talk a little bit about our integration approach and landscape. So thank you, Narelle.
Thanks, Joel. Yeah, innovation and integration. It might sound like a bit of an odd combination, but you'll be surprised how often that they overlap. So what I thought I'd do just quickly is give you an idea of what we do in this space, and hopefully you can see the connection there. And as Joel said, it's not just about you might have a best of breed solution, but it may also be that through an organizational change management analysis, you've seen that, look, the business isn't going to cope with switching out all of our applications at once and switching it across. What we need to do is do this slowly and gradually. And that is where integrations really come into play there. But we can use integration and innovation to achieve that, so that the transition across to new technology is also a lot easier as well. So from an innovation perspective, a lot of what we do is around strategic advisory. So we can come out, look at the innovation maturity of your organization and look at what can be done immediately versus what might be done later. For those that have dealt with innovation before, we really break it down to two main areas, and that is where we've got our sustaining innovation, and then we have our disruptive innovation. We work a lot with sustaining innovation with our customer base because that is about filling the gaps. So making sure that you're still doing business as you normally do it, but you just do it smarter and more efficiently. The disruptive innovation is where you just an absolute game changer within your organization. It might be that you're going from completely paper-based to IoT out in the field, mobile devices, online, offline. That would be very disruptive. So what we do is we tend to work with you to see where you fit, what's possible now, and develop a roadmap for you for your innovation. And when it comes to integration, it's a very similar story around that advisory part. We look at your application landscape, we look at your 5-year plan of where you want to be, and then we create architecture to look at, well, what integrations should we get up and running immediately? And we also look at the ROI on those integrations. An example is one of our customers, they had been putting off upgrading to a new version of a product because they knew that the change management was going to be an absolute nightmare for them. But what we did was that we created an integration for them on this old school on-premise SQL database, and it was actually going up to NetSuite. And what this enabled them to do was to do that gradual transition, but it also meant that it wasn't, the data was still there, we were connected to the old system, it just wasn't such a shock to the group there. We do very much work with business people too. Is one thing to design integrations, but we have to match the business process flow of your business. So we have high level of engagement there to understand, it might be the inventory flow through your different applications and systems, but we always need to make sure that we're identifying the business process there too. So this is just a little bit about what we do. So when it comes to selecting integrations, most of the time people now need middleware. The old days of just doing a CSV import or point to point, it is quite limited as far as error logs, being able to retry events, turning integrations on and off. You really don't have much visibility, particularly with that point to point. Excuse me. So when we're looking at selecting a middleware product for you, we need to first of all look at your business. And again, this comes back to that seeing where you are in that maturity level when it comes to your technology. So there's 3 main questions that we ask. Do you want to take full responsibility for your integrations? And that will mean that we will be there for guidance, but ultimately you would like to build them, you'll be taking responsibility from them, and we're there as an advisor to make sure that that is done correctly. Then we have organizations that they would like us to do it. So that they want us to help build them out and then support after as well. And this is where we get that hybrid model where we're working with both the customer and then you come to us for some of the more difficult support. And then lastly, which tends to be becoming the norm, we just don't want to deal with integration. People think integration is just sending data from point A to point B, but it's much more complex than that. And what we do tend to find that even if a customer comes in at that first point of saying, no, we want to take full responsibility, over the course of the project, they look at what might be required from a resource perspective to not only build but support those integrations moving forwards and realize they don't have the capacity, in which case they then tend to come back to us for that. And what we do as part of that middleware selection is we look at the business drivers for you. So we have a standard set of business drivers as far as selecting the middleware, but then we listen to you and we look at what else there might be that's slightly out of the norm. So what we do is we actually put them all in a list. We look at the full breadth of what there is as far as middleware platforms. So we work with Azure, AWS, Delboomi, MuleSoft, Jitterbits, Lego. There's an awful lot, and we have specialists in each of the areas. So you're getting a very unbiased view on what middleware is going to work best for you. And then what happens from that is you get an output and we look at the products that are going to be the best fit. for your organization. We list all the key strengths, the weaknesses, and then that way you're going in a much more informed manner, and you can be a lot more confident in your middleware selection. And you've then got a nice 5-year plan as well for how that architecture will look within your organization. And that's just a quick overview of integrations from me. So I believe we're handing it over to Gavin from here.
Thanks, Narelle. Yeah, so we will hand over to Gavin now to run through our NetSuite demonstration. So thanks, Gavin, over to you.
Great. Thank you both, and thanks everyone for your afternoon today. So talking to some of the points that have been raised earlier, integration's really important nowadays. We've gone from a landscape of looking for a single solution to more of a best of breed, and now there's that blend of both, which is really great for businesses. It gives them a lot of choice. Sometimes it's very difficult to demonstrate what integration looks like because it's quite technical. So what I'd like to do today is show you how NetSuite is quite extensible and how we can configure NetSuite to work with data from an external system. Okay, so integration is a two-way street. Integration could be NetSuite providing data to external systems or ingesting information from external systems, or it could be bi-directional. If you've got customers in an e-commerce platform and within NetSuite, we want to ensure that there's synchronicity between the two platforms to ensure that you've got consistent data management. Today, we're going to be focusing on how we configure NetSuite to ingest data from an external resource. Okay, so it could be usage data from a utility where we need to drive billing. It could be in the agri space, testing and soil information or livestock information that we need for informational purposes, not necessarily financial information. So I want to show you how we can build this out. The example we're using today is a rebate, because rebates can be quite common across very different industries and verticals. So in order to do that, and we sometimes take for granted how easy it is to extend NetSuite. So what we're doing is we're going to create a custom record or a repository for the information we want to capture from an external party. And this is going through and creating what we call a custom record or a record type. These are often referred to as custom objects, a custom table. And what this does is it really creates a table within your NetSuite solution as a repository of information. Now the screen looks a little bit busy, but there's some really important things on here that help us govern the information as well. So you've got permissions. You've got audit trails around creation dates and modified dates, so you can ensure that you're not just capturing information, but you're tracking and managing it in a way that aligns to your policies. This is all via the UI. Okay, so as Joel mentioned earlier, you don't need to be technical to be able to create a custom record. You really just need to be a business user and understand the process and some of the reasoning. Once we've defined our custom record, and in this example, it's a rebate or rebate data, we then go through and ensure that we can capture all the different metadata or fields or information associated to this rebate record. Okay, so the rebate could be a technology supplier where you've got employees going in and making purchases. So what we want to record is the vendor that's sending us the information, the rebate scheme or agreement that's in place that determines, for example, the start and end date of the rebate agreement, the product, the attainment, so on and so forth. And then we've got the employee that, in this example, created the transaction. So the vendor or the third party is sending us information. We also need to be able to create new fields. Okay, so by creating a new field, it's really quite easy. I've got a transaction date. I've already pre-configured some of this. I can select the type of data. And by saving it, it's added more information into the rebate data record. Okay, so I've got my vendor, the rebate scheme, the employee, and the transaction date. The other thing that's really important is we need to know the amount. So I'll create a new field here. And we'll go ahead and show you how to do that. It's also a relational database. So I've created relationships between the vendor record, the employee record, and the schemes. And you can see the types of fields and also the related records. It means that, sorry, let me, it means if I view a vendor record, I can also see the rebate schemes. I've got a scheme here, as well as the rebate data. So now that we've created the repository and ensured that we understand the different types of data points and metadata we need to import, we can go ahead and introduce information into the repository. So NetSuite does provide an import tool. And this is, you could consider this a manual integration. I want to import custom records. I'm going to import rebate data. And I can go ahead and select my CSV file. Just a minute. Once I select it, they'll allow me to map the different fields. I can submit that, and that's really a manual integration. That process will be automated via API or via a scheduled process. And once I import the data, it will populate the different records, as you can see here. So I can manually create a rebate data record. I can have the name of the record, who the vendor is that's sending the information through, the rebate scheme that determines the calculation, the employee that transacted with the vendor, the transaction date or eligibility, the amount of the transaction. I can save that. So once I've collected all the data, the other important thing we can do with it is not just capture data, but we can use that to perform calculations. With a rebate, we can look at all the data that's been provided. We could do things like generate an RCTI or a recipient created tax invoice and use that information to reconcile back to the information that the vendors provided. So again, just a quick snapshot of NetSuite, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, Gavin. Almost not much point sharing now, but yeah, so that's basically it for us today. If there are any questions that you have in relation to anything that we've covered today, please feel free to pop them in the chat or get in contact with us afterwards. You can contact us via our website. Any of our previous webinars and lots of other content that we've put together will be available. This is www.fusion5.com.au or www.fusion5.co.nz, depending on what side of the ditch you come from. Also, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. And if there's anything else that you'd like to hear about from us, or if there's any suggestions for any future topics, please make them known in the chat or contact us via those methods. So thanks very much, everyone, for your time today, and we'll catch you next month with some of our additional content.